Heyo, how's it going internet? My name is Efrain, and I like playing Skyrim on the Xbox with mods and telling you all about those mods in a video. Thanks for tuning in. I figure I'd quickly cover a small mod that I've really been enjoying recently. Despite some of the top rated mods having excellent spells, effects, and gameplay changes, there's always been one ability absent in this game entirely. The ability to fly. Arguably one of the best powers in fiction. And this ability would not only fit nicely in Skyrim from a thematic perspective, but also from a functional one. To be completely honest, the sole reason I downloaded this mod was because I found it ridiculous that my master wizard character, who can summon dimensional portals at will, fabricate bridges to cross bodies of water in massive gaps, and conjure several creatures from oblivion at once, still has to pack fucking trail mix and hiking boots in order to go through or around a mountain like the average adventurer. I can blast people with lightning bolts from the heavens and encase others in a magical cage, yet the magical solution to take flight has never been found. Damn you birds, if only I knew your secrets. Today's mod finally allows you to take to the skies with the use of a simple alteration spell. It's not only very useful, but also very fun to use. It takes up almost no space in your dedicated mod storage, and I feel this spell really should belong in Skyrim's world. It's for those reasons that I'd like to talk about the Levitate spell mod by Knight from Windhelm for the Xbox One. Now, to start off, the mod maker has made two variations of this spell, and they suggest that you only use one, which I also recommend. Using both will result in crashes or may cause game-breaking effects, causing your Xbox to yearn for the sweet embrace of death. In any event, the first spell is the Moorwen Edition, and my preferred choice of the two. It is essentially an airwalking spell and a carbon copy of the spell found in the Elder Scrolls Morrowind. You simply cast the spell and your character will be lifted off the ground a few inches. To gain height, you can jump up in the air until you reach your desired altitude. You can also look up at about a 45-degree angle and simply walk forwards, or look down at the same angle and walk backwards. In the air, you'll be able to move in an omnidirectional fashion depending on where your character is facing, just like walking, but now there's a Z-axis added to the mix. The reason I prefer this version is because it allows you to levitate a couple seconds while still retaining two free hands. That opens up an entirely new avenue for combat and action in this game. Let's talk about the other version first before we make a fun detour down that path. The second levitation mod is known as the Skyrim Edition. It achieves the same effect of the former version, except this one is a concentration spell, meaning you will have to dedicate one hand to casting it in order to stay afloat. The problem I had with the other spell is that you'll have to mentally keep track of the spell timer as to not get caught with your pants down and plummet to your death in a very humiliating fashion. The Skyrim version eliminates that by allowing you to dictate how long you like to stay in the air, depending on how much magic you have and you're wanting to hold down the button. It costs much less to cast, but your actions in the air are limited. It ultimately comes down to preference and the player's needs and wants for these spells. The Moorwen Edition has slightly less player control, but for the handful of seconds that you're in the air, you can definitely have a blast. You can switch to a bow and arrow or crossbow and snipe people from an unorthodox vantage point. Well, let's be honest here. Most of us are going to go up just to rain down ice and lightning like Holly Berry. You can even take to the skies and bring the fight to those pesky dragons. Have yourself an epic battle for air superiority. It isn't a 100% foolproof strategy, but man, it is fun. The Skyrim Edition is more useful in a practical sense. It's better suited for getting up and over tall obstacles like mountains or buildings, skipping parts of dungeons, and generally getting a beautiful view of the landscape. Now, you don't just load up your game and receive these spells as a gift for existing. Calm down, shawty, it ain't your birthday. Curtis lied to you. Both can be acquired by venturing out to Ranvig's Fast, just south and slightly west of Morthal. This is the Nordic tomb where you find the subjugated ghost enemies, and if you're not careful, can fall into a trap laid by a deranged warlock inside the tomb.
Oh, yes, yes!
If it also helps, there is a rock pass that goes from Morthal swamps directly to Randvake's Fast that is populated with frost trolls and skeletons, so it really isn't that big of a challenge to get through. You will find the spell tome atop a stone pillar held by a skeleton with an outstretched left hand, wearing antlers and a goat pelt. Why that is a method of packaging, I have no idea. Must be reference to something that I am either too young or too old to understand. The spell is an expert level alteration spell that, to the untrained, costs about 250 points of magicka to cast. The Skyrim version only costs 3 points of magicka per second to cast. With, of course, training in alteration and magical effects and enchantments, the cost of casting the spell can be reduced significantly. Additionally, you can buy the spell from mages once you've unlocked the ability to buy expert level ult spells. Now these spells are not perfect. The mod maker even puts a use with care caution in the spell description. I like that, looking out for the consumer. I appreciate it. You will take fall damage when the spell effect expires if you are quite high, and sometimes when you do use with care. It's a bit buggy, as a lot of times, especially in combat, I will take fall damage even when I land slowly and safely. Occasionally I'll get some weird glitch where my character won't come back down all the way and acts as if you're standing atop an invisible item that is furiously moving beneath you. Furthermore, the spell may just fail and you'll either end up plummeting to your death or slowly start descending. I'm not entirely sure what causes that, but most times when this does occur, I happen to be flying too close to a mountain or hit some sort of invisible ceiling. Since it's an airwalking mod, it could be that it depends on the coded properties of the ground you're walking above, and mountains or complex terrain might be coded in an unpredictable fashion. So you hit a piece of random, invisible floor which interrupts your spell and causes you to fall. Boom, you're dead. It's definitely a minor annoyance, but if you are careful and navigate around obstacles well, this is something you can easily avoid doing. Also, for the Skyrim Edition, do not open your quick select menu while you are holding down the cast button. I had to learn that the hard way. Now, I am not one to complain and demand a fix without doing everything in my power to jury-rig a solution, and so this is what I came up with. The wonderful mod, Apocalypse Magic of Skyrim by Ine Sion, I'm so sorry for butchering that, has a handful of useful alteration spells that cancel out fall damage. It is not a bad idea to use one of these spells right before the Levitate spell expires, or right before you take to the sky, to avoid fall damage, but there are some risks as these mods may conflict. I haven't had anything funky happen yet, but in the words of a wise individual, use with care. It may be a band-aid on a large wound, but for the cards we've been dealt, it's a way to roll with it. If you can overlook the flaws of this mod and learn to master its mechanics, it's very fun to use. This might be the closest thing to a flight mod in Skyrim for the console, and I gotta say, it's really good. It does exactly what it's intended to do, and both versions are very small files, coming in at only 13 kilobytes, which is practically nothing. This mod is great for just a leisurely experience and really good for travel and exploration. As a plus, if you're like me, a master wizard, you can use this spell to terrorize the 9 holds with your awesome magical powers and kill some time that way. It's a great mod and I highly recommend it, especially if you've been looking for a flight mod. This is it. And with that said, this video is over. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful. My name is Efrain. Adios.